In this video, I'm going to talk about the top 5 tax deductions that small business owners miss when filing their taxes. I'm going to give you my top 5 tax deductions that people often overlook or aren't even aware of. Stay tuned to ensure you're not leaving any money on the table during tax season. Before we get into it, I have a quick story to share with you. Some years ago, I started selling cars. To save money, I was paying the mechanic cash to fix the cars before selling them. Little did I know that I was actually losing out on valuable tax deductions, and I ended up paying more to the government on the sale of the cars. It was a tough lesson, but it got me thinking about other tax deductions that I and many others are losing out on. So the first being home office expense. For years, I used to DJ, and I didn't know all the things that I could be writing off. Like the clothes that I'm wearing, the transportation getting there, meals, like all these things I didn't know that I could claim until I got a manager. He actually did taxes, and he's like, hey, did you know that you can write this off? You can write off your basement because that's where you keep your equipment. I was like, no. He's like, are you writing off do you have your meals for your gigs? I was like, no. If you're using your house to operate a business, anything that's pertaining to the house, you can claim in your tax deduction. The next is multiple payment methods. Did you know that using multiple payment methods and failing to inform your tax preparer could be costing you? With having multiple payment methods, a lot of things can be missed. Say one day you use your personal card, the other day you use your business card, or you use cash and didn't get a receipt. Having all these different types of payment methods can be very sloppy when it comes to doing your tax return. You could also be missing out on write-offs for your business because you used your personal card or you used cash and didn't get a receipt. Stick to using one method. If you have a debit card for your business, use that. If you have a credit card for the business, use that. Try to stay away from cash because cash is something that's frowned upon when it comes to doing your taxes and filing with the government. Before we move on to the next point, if you're finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you won't miss out on more tips and advice that could save you money. So talking about cash here, it might seem easier to pay things for cash, but not keeping record could be a big mistake. One time I actually got audited and they said they want to see all my receipts for everything. A few things I paid for cash, and because I didn't have the receipts for it, I lost out on money, and they said, you don't have proof of this, we're taking this money from you. Vehicle and travel expense. Did you know that certain vehicle and travel expenses can be deducted? If you use a vehicle to get to and from work in your business, that's a write-off. If you do deliveries, that's a write-off. The gas that you put into the car, that's also a write-off. So when I say the car being a write-off, so what the accountants do is they depreciate, which is they take the amount of money that you paid for the car and they expense it over time. Depending where you live, some places allow you to write off the vehicle fully in the first year. So you want to check with a tax professional before assuming that it's like, hey, I can go buy this brand new car and they're going to write it off. Anything associated to the vehicle, a portion of that gets deducted from your tax return under your business. If you travel and on that trip you talk about your business or you do something related to your business, that now becomes an expense you can potentially write off. Keep the receipts and detailed information as to what you did on that trip, just in case you get audited so that you have your paperwork ready to go. Now, this is a big one. Sales tax. When you collect taxes, you have to pay it to the government. But when you have to pay for items or services and taxes that you pay on it, that reduces how much you pay to the government. Some businesses, if their expenses exceed their income and they paid more taxes than they claim, they could potentially get a refund for that. You want to double check with your tax professional to see what applies to you. Remember the deductions we discussed today: home office deduction, informing your tax preparer on the multiple payment methods that you used, keeping records of cash expenses, deducting vehicle and travel expenses, and sales tax. It's surprising how often these are overlooked, so make sure to keep in mind during the next tax season. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, be sure to check out the next video that I linked up above for more tax saving tips. Until next time, stay savvy with your finances.